When was the last time you caught yourself scrolling and feeling like comparing yourself to something you saw on the internet? And also, I kind of want to pose that question to ourselves.
Mhm.
Like, let's have an open, honest conversation. I will say about last week.
Girl, I was going to say the same. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Elevators Podcast.
Welcome. We're
us.
so excited to have you guys. Another week, another episode, another opportunity for motivation, growth, good vibes. You already know what you're tuning in for. Thank you for being here with us.
That's right. Yo, I'm over here eating these candy corns. I just don't need any judgment. Like, I feel like people judge people who eat candy corn.
I
like
do. That's such a
Is it a serial
old
killer?
candy.
People always say it's a serial killer snack for a thing.
It is. It is.
Well,
I definitely
I'm no
had
serial
on.
killer, but I like them when they're stale.
So you say,
Nah,
girl.
I'm innocent.
I definitely had on a serial killer outfit the other days, and it was very much giving get the fuck off my grass, and it was hilarious.
What is a serial killer outfit?
It was just like New Balance sneakers with mom pants, and I had like my mom pants cuffed and a white shirt, and it was giving I got my shit together. It was giving I got a 401k. Like, it was very southern, very
Don't play with me.
very get off my grass. Very get
Don't
off my
play with
grass
me.
right now.
I love that. I love that. I love that for you.
But how are you? How you been?
I'm good. Speaking of candy corn, I was literally thinking about this when we were getting on the show. I'm like, do I want to decorate for the fall? I know it's fall, y'all. It's fall. I know everybody's in the fall season, getting ready for the fall holiday, Halloween, and all that. But I don't know if I'm feeling fall decor right now. I don't know if I feel like I want to set up fall decor. I do think I'm gonna put my Christmas tree up early though.
Yeah,
That I'm with.
same. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling like a Krabby Patty today, so I'm like not trying to do any holiday right now. But maybe in a week or two, I'll see something really cute and be like, "Oh, I want to do that."
Yeah.
I think I want to do that. Probably fall stuff, and I really do want to host a girls' night this November in
Ooh.
my house. Yeah, I kind of want to
Love
host
that.
a little girls' night and have some girlies over. I don't know. Let me think about it.
Please do let me know. I'm actually thinking about doing something in October, so I'll keep you posted. I'm thinking about doing like a little Getty. I want to do something. I feel like I want to start hosting more things too. Like, I know you host things all the time. Like, I feel like you do it with your eyes closed. I want to like get into it. I always see the girlies do it on Instagram, like the cute little like Friendsgiving and this, that, and the third. I think that it was so stinking cute. So I'm all about it.
Right. Same.
I'm all about it.
And I love hosting. Like, I love having company in my house. You don't even know. Like, I really do love it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe I'll do a little shum for November, December here in a crib.
That'll be cute.
Bring
I'm gonna keep you
bring
posted
your
if
whole
I
little
do
crew.
something too, because I'm thinking I might do a little something October.
But let's get into the reviews really quick. So I have
Let's
a
do it.
review that I want to read. Her name is Stephanie Mensa, and she said, "Love this, the best podcast." Thank you, Stephanie. We appreciate you listening.
Thanks, Stephanie girl.
Make sure you guys leave us comments on the YouTube, Apple, as well as leave us a voice note on SpeakPipe. We want to hear from you, and we want to play it on the episode. They're anonymous, so if you need any advice or you just want to drop in and say hello, we are all ears.
That's right. And the more that you guys write comments, share our podcast with other people that may also love the show, we become more discoverable for other people to find the show. So we love that. Girl, let's jump on into today's show. I know you have a very good... Wait, is it a good story?
Unfiltered. Let's jump into...
Is it a good... It's not a bad story. It's a bad story, right?
No, it's a bad story, but it's like a crazy story. So let's jump into our Unfiltered segment. So, woo child, not too long ago, this Black woman from Maryland went to Tunisia, Africa with her homegirl, and they tried to kidnap my girl. Like, they literally tried to kidnap her. And it's just sad. Like, so she's on TikTok telling the story, and basically what happened was she went to that place in Africa with her friend. They
Mhm.
went out to a bar. She said she's not a person who likes to really be out too much, so after an hour and a half, she told her homegirl, "Hey, I'm gonna go back to the hotel." There was a bunch of people outside and a bunch of taxis outside. She was like, "I'm just gonna go back to the hotel, no worries." She gets back to the hotel and she realizes that she doesn't have her room key, so she goes to the front desk, they give her a room key. She goes upstairs, goes to her room, drops her stuff off that she was using that night when she was out at the bar with her friend. Then she realizes she doesn't have any toilet paper. So she goes back down to the front desk to get the toilet paper and they gave it to her. She said from that point on, she doesn't remember anything past that toilet paper stuff. And she remembers being in the hotel at the front desk asking for the toilet paper. So the
What?
crazy thing about this is that, yes, I mean, it's just crazy because then she says she woke up, she's in this man's car, and she starts instantly fighting for her life. She was like, "What is going on?" So she starts fighting with the guy. And when I tell you, Amanda, she got brute. Like she had two black eyes, basically. Two black eyes, and she had scratches all on like on the side of her mouth. You can tell somebody was trying to like cover her mouth. And she said the guy kept trying to
Wow.
cover her mouth, that they was going blow for blow. He pulled over on the side of the road and she was like in the woods area and just kept thinking to herself, "I gotta get home to my kids, I gotta get home to my kids, I gotta get home to my kids." And she was screaming, "Help me, help me." And then she seen like lights like from a different road and she ran through the woods towards the other lights and towards the other cars and she finally flagged somebody down, went back to the hotel. She got to the hotel to find her homegirl at the hotel going crazy looking for her. And her homegirl said that she was in distraught, like she was just distraught, like she was all over the place. She was screaming. She was telling her the story, like what happened. So now her homegirl was like, "What? She was here. So what? What y'all try to line my girl?" So basically, she was saying that the hotel had something to do with it because she was in the lobby getting the tissue paper, and then all of a sudden she went blank, which we know
Mm.
people could put chemicals on things, whether it was the ID card,
Mhm.
whether it don't matter, but she left, she was taken from that hotel without her
Wow.
recollection. And she said the hotel was not helpful at all. She said they didn't want to show her the cameras. They only showed her running back into the hotel. They didn't want to show her leaving the hotel. They didn't want to show her showing up to the hotel the first time. They were trying to make it seem like she wasn't even at the hotel, that she never made it back from the venue. But her stuff from the venue was in her hotel room already.
So
So
she
she
did
did
make it back.
that. Absolutely.
Wow. That is scary.
Scary.
And even more like as I'm listening to your story, this reminds me that like ladies, when we are going out of the country or traveling, even local places and places we don't know, it's very important for us to not be by ourselves. Like
Yo,
we can't
stay
think that we
together.
could literally be alone going to places that we aren't familiar with by ourselves. I'm so happy to hear that she's okay and that she's safe, but that is scary. Like,
Mhm.
what?
Very scary. Very, very, very scary. Honestly, and she said the hotel staff looked like they seen ghosts when she came back in because she was like, They didn't expect me to make it back to the hotel. I was not supposed to make it
Wow.
back there."
Wow.
I'm like, "That's crazy." They coulda trafficked her, they coulda sold her organs, they could
Yeah.
all that stuff is real, and it's so sad. So, I am very curious to see what the US Embassy is going to do, like, what's gonna come of this because somebody needs to be held accountable, and the footage needs to be released and shown what happened because no matter what, whether the hotel staff have something to do with it or not, the girl was drugged. And just because she's a black woman doesn't mean we can sweep this under the rug. Like, no.
Yeah. That's so
And she said
scary.
the police showed up because her homegirl was making a ruckus. So she went back to the hotel room after she went back to the hotel. She went upstairs. Her homegirl went downstairs and was flipping on them like, "Show me the cameras. Show
Mhm.
me the cameras." They called the police on her homegirl. They never called the police to tell them anything about what
She
happened
was
to the girl.
missing.
Meanwhile, the girl
Yeah.
had scratches on her face. She got bruises all over her body. Nothing. But then when the police got there, she went downstairs and they were trying to tell her homegirl, "Well, come with me to make the report. Come with me to make the report," trying to get her off the hotel. And they were like, "Absolutely not. We're not leaving from here." Because, in a lot of other places, the police could be bought. That
Mhm.
was the smartest thing they did was not go. Nope, go right to the US Embassy and leave that at that. And then she said that she eventually contacted the US Embassy and they said I think they had said that that wasn't, I don't know if it wasn't one of their people or if it wasn't an official personnel. It was one of the two. So,
Wow.
yeah,
That sounds so
crazy.
scary.
Very scary.
So
Though,
scary.
no matter what, even if it's a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic, we come together, we leave together, and I think that's the number one rule
Mhm.
women learn from preteens.
Yeah,
That's the number one rule. When you go out the house and you're leaving with your friends or going somewhere with your friends, that's the one thing my aunt and my cousin and my mom always used to tell me, "You come together, you leave together, and the first person to leave without anybody else
in
is a
trouble.
dub. They're a dub.
Yeah,
Never be friends
yeah,
with them again." And as you get older, you realize like, "Oh, yeah, like, staying together in a group could really save your life." God
absolutely,
forbid
and you
she didn't wake up.
yeah, absolutely, and you know what I think about when you see those stories on Instagram you know what I think about when you see those stories on Instagram where people are going, like, above and beyond all these different measures to keep themselves safe in a hotel room. People are like, "Oh, you're doing too much," when you put the lock on the door and you wipe things down to make sure there's no chemicals on it, but that's, like, real, like, you have to do these things when traveling or by yourself because you just never know who's watching you and who realizes that you're a tourist and they know that you're not from there. Like
Mhm.
human trafficking is real. Like when you
Mhm.
see those missing person flyers up and just sometimes you see them on social media, like those stories are real. And it's so like heartbreaking to hear that that could have happened to her.
And
That's
listen, if
sad.
you're in a hotel, whether you're by yourself or not, the number one thing I do is I always put my do not disturb on. Because sometimes housekeeping will walk in not realizing you're there. And anytime I'm in that room, I always keep it on because God forbid I hear the lock open, I'm on go. I'm on
Yeah.
go. Because I know I have my light on, and at that point, I don't care if it's housekeeping or anybody else, you should not be in my room.
Yeah.
Period.
That's what
Period.
I do
Because
when I'm in a
sometimes
hotel. Yep.
yeah, sometimes, like, you can be in your room and you forget to put it on, and then your first assumption is, "Oh, that was just housekeeping."
No.
Don't to say that. It could be by the time they in your room and you realize they're not housekeeping, it's over for you. You're done,
Yeah.
they're in the room, you know? Like, so,
Mm.
if you in that room, child, keep your do not disturb on, keep your top lock, your bottom lock on, like,
Pepper
it is
spray
not a
on
it is not a
you,
game. It is not a
tasers
game, it's not
on
a joke.
you, all of that, because
Girl, every a
that's
fork, a knife, whatever.
scary. Something, like,
Crazy.
so scary, and you know what? I seen when I was driving the other day, and I was like, "Wow, I've never really seen this out," but I was thinking that might be, like, a good thing to do, like, a good outing with, like, girlfriends is a self-defense class. Like, I think I seen, like, a self-defense building, like, around, like, my area, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, like, I need to go, like, do that." Like, those things are important. You never know when you may need it. Like, you
Girl,
literally
yes.
never know.
Moving down here to Florida too, that's, like, always my number one. I think my head is a little more on a swivel when it comes to certain things because people could put you in a trunk and forget it. Like, it's not like New York where it's harder to get out the city, it's harder to hide somebody, it's harder to kidnap somebody. Like, living in South Florida, they gonna put you in a trunk, you got about 5 to 10 minutes before it might be over for you. Because once you hit a highway,
Yeah.
you could be very long gone.
I'm not
Very
gonna
long.
lie, that happened to someone that I know, and it is the scariest thing, especially it hits home more when you know that that's happened, like, someone's been kidnapped in their own I knew someone that was kidnapped in her own car. That was, like,
See?
such a heartbreaking story to hear. Thank God she's alive to tell her story and her testimony, but, like,
What happened?
that happened before, girl.
What happened?
I don't remember verbatim, but I wanna say she was going somewhere, whether it be, like, a gas station or, like I don't remember because I don't wanna, like, quote her
Mhm.
story. But she was somewhere, and I think, like, a group of guys, or it might have been, like, 1 or 2 people, like, threw her in the back of the trunk of her car, and she was, like, pleading and screaming for her life, like, she was, like, literally, like, trying to do anything and everything, but somehow I think they let her go, like, I think they pulled up somewhere and they let her go. I don't know what the motive was behind that, but out of the grace of God, like, she's here and she's alive to tell her
So
story, but
weird.
it's crazy, it's scary. So, yeah, that can
Child,
happen.
and if y'all in a gas station, lock all 4 doors while you are pumping your gas.
Girl, there's some
Lock the
places
damn
that
doors.
if it's sketchy looking, I'll just
I'm
keep
not getting
going.
out.
Like, I'd rather drive on E or call somebody, AAA to come put the gas in. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, and also there's certain things, ladies, at certain hours, you should not be pumping your gas late at night. You should not be going to the ATM late at night. Like, you should not be doing things super late where it's not in the daytime. You know what's kind of crazy? I heard a story too, that on TikTok actually about a girl who was in TJ Maxx. Did you see that one? She was like in TJ Maxx and somebody was trying to talk to her. I got to show you that, send you that story. But like someone was trying to
Mhm.
talk to her in TJ Maxx and she felt like it was like someone trying to human traffic her. Like the girl was like following
Mhm.
her, asking her all types of questions. She was saying like, "Oh, where do you go to Pilates? Where do you do this?" Like asking specific questions and was not giving any information on herself, but was just trying to get information out of the girl. And at first she thought, "Oh, it's just like a friendly person in the aisle." She was literally looking around. She was in the only section of this store with this one person. And that's the thing
Mm-mm.
is you may not realize that a lot of these people have other people working for them. They may be in the store like, "Oh, I see somebody, let me try to talk to her." And then you get in your car and you not realize you park next to somebody that's in like a white van and then that's it. Like,
Mhm.
so be mindful of where you park your car even. Like you can't just like park next to abandoned or just trucks that look suspicious. Like I think as women, we just really always have to just keep our head on the swivel because you just never know. Never
Girl,
know.
times have changed. I'm sorry. People could call me rude. I'm used to it coming from New York, but don't make too much conversation with me. Times have changed. I don't want to
Yeah.
know what you do. I don't give a damn. Don't talk to me. Stop talking to me. You just have to assume the worst of everybody as a woman
Yeah.
when you're out in the street because 9 times out of 10, they ain't being nice. They're
This is
not.
facts.
They're not. Times have changed in in terms of, like, friendliness, in terms of prices, everything, y'all. Times have changed,
Girl,
and you need to
yes,
recognize it. So, yeah, keep yourself protected, be alert, and be, critical with everything. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Even
Speak
even with the money you spending, honey.
girl, honey, all of that. Speaking of times changing, I think this is a good segue into our episode. We are going to talk about the cost of comparison. But before we get into that, girl, I found some really interesting things, and I know you found some stuff as well. It's 2025. Yes, we are millennials. You know, we like to talk about being in our 30s, but it amazes me when I hear of stories of things that are turning 20 at my age. I'm like, turning 20? What's turning 20? And I'm just listening to like
Crazy.
just these different things. So I
Mhm.
know we found some really cool things online. Let's talk about some things turning 20 this year. Let's start with music. One thing that I wanted to mention that's turning 20 this year, which may sound crazy to people, is Destiny's Child Fulfilled album. I'll give you a couple more. 50 Cent Massacre album, Chris Brown's self-titled Chris Brown album, and T-Pain's I'm in Love with a Stripper. All those things in music turned 20.
Stop, I'm gonna cry. I feel so old. What? Time is flying.
Mhm.
What is going on? They're pressing fast forward. That's crazy.
Get into this. You wanna know the price of gas that was 20 years ago?
Go ahead and make me mad. Go ahead.
Gas cost $1.88 for 1 gallon. 1
No
gallon.
way.
Yeah. Way.
What the heck? Now I see why people always complain about gas prices because I feel like ever since I started driving, it's been this expensive.
Mhm.
So to know that it was $1 back then is wild. We need to
188.
go back. See, this is what I said. Times have changed. Times have changed.
Things aren't
It's
getting cheaper
insane.
either. Look, we're gonna look back 20 years from now, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, remember when gas was $4 a gallon?" Yeah, right. It's gonna be $10.
Girl, right. And now it's gonna be like $20.
It's gonna be $20.
Insane. You know what else has gotten expensive? Food
What?
shopping. I told you how much I spend, like, weekly. It's, like, 2 to 300, and then at the end of the month, you rack it up to, it's, like, over $1,200 a month on
Mhm,
food shopping. On average,
mhm.
in the year 2000, people used to spend $133 weekly on food. Where? 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 How?
I could believe it.
Wish. I wish.
I could believe it. I could believe it.
Girl.
You wanna know what's crazy? I was at Publix the other day, and shout out to Publix. I love Publix, even though they just take so much of my money. I was buying like fruits and snacks. I don't even think I bought anything that was substantial. I didn't buy any meals, any meats, any veggies. Like I literally brought well fruits and snacks,
Mhm.
and it was almost $100 worth of stuff.
Insane.
It's
It's
crazy.
so crazy. It's so
It's
crazy,
insane.
and then you go to Trader Joe's, and it's like $3 for this, $5 for that, but yeah, the serving is like 1 serving, so now you have to get 7 of them to last for the
Right.
week.
Yeah.
Child, expensive. Oh my god, the other days I was on TikTok, and this girl was talking about how much money she spent on a Chanel bag in 2000, I think, like, 10 or 5, and she
Mhm.
was saying she bought a Chanel bag in Las Vegas, and she spent $1,800 on this Chanel bag. I was
What
like,
did it look like?
"Ah." It was
Was
this
it
really cute,
big?
like, black it was a decent size, yes.
So it wasn't a
It
mini
wasn't a
bag.
it wasn't a mini. It was
Okay.
an average size Chanel bag, like a regular purse. It was
Mhm.
black patent, like black on black, very cute. And she said she spent $1,800, and the current market price for that specific bag right now is $12,000.
Dang.
I said, "Baby, you can have that bag.
Right,
Give
and
me
I bet you
that."
the materials is way better. The gold is probably real gold, like, it's not the fake stuff that they're
Yes,
trying to give now. What?
girl,
See,
yes.
I
And
always
now
say
what? Chanel
purses
bag's
are an
like
investment.
6,000.
Yeah, purses are an investment.
Child. No, they are. And this is what I tell my man when I'm like, "Can you buy me that?" And now he sees like, "Oh, nah, like, you really not wrong," even though I do want the bag, but it's the truth. Chanel bags are actual investments like Rolex watches. It's
Yeah,
crazy. People are gonna continue to buy it. Well, if they fix their materials, because I think people are really not into the poor quality that they've been producing, over the last couple years. I'm
I
definitely
agree.
not.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of those things where you gotta save your money, but I ain't mad at a couple new bags. I'm not mad at it, but
Mhm.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think something else that was interesting that I found 20 years ago to now in comparison to price with houses. The average price of a house 20 years ago, you ready? A
No.
$172,000. The average price of a home. That same price
Girl.
now is 400,000.
No, that's cap. That same price now is $500,000. It's 500,000 on average.
It depends. I guess it depends on where you're at, but yeah, you're right.
Girl, it's insane. It's
Yeah,
insane. $500,000 on a house?
crazy,
How is that
crazy.
even possible?
And in
Oh my
Miami, you're
god.
getting, like, this much house. Like, you're getting
Miami's like New York in terms of,
you're
like, how
getting
much space you're
nothing.
getting for your buck.
It's small.
Girl,
I know.
irritating.
I know.
Even, like,
Girl,
laptops, though. Laptops back then, I think Apple's first computer that came out cost, $666, but a functioning same version of that now sells for, or recently sold for, $400,000. That's what I read on Reddit.
what?
Insane.
That's
Insane.
crazy. Girl, and then, everything we love to do, a lot of us love to do is travel. The cost of traveling has gone up, y'all. I found a
Mhm.
round trip ticket to Paris 20 years ago to Paris, $300.
Mhm.
That's cheap. To go to
That's not
Paris?
bad.
That's like the
No, that's
price to go
not
to New
bad at
York
all.
now. That's not
Yeah.
bad at all.
Shit.
Everything's
Was it
just
on the
going
super
up.
fast plane?
I don't remember. Well, it's 20 years ago, so who
Probably.
knows?
They used to have, like, a very fast plane that traveled from New York to Paris, but they had to ground it because it used to make too much noise.
Really?
Mhm.
Oh, it was like
They
a speed
grounded it in, like,
train.
2000s.
Ooh, I don't think I wonder if that's the plane that's in JF is it JFK? You know how they
Yes,
have that little terminal where it's like the flight or is that LaGuardia, where they have like the terminal where you can go there and it's like a hotel?
but that's not
What
the
is it?
plane. The actual
Oh, okay,
plane,
okay.
that I think that's just like a mock-up activation, but that the actual plane, I think, was grounded at JFK. I think it cut the travel to Paris in half or something like that.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
crazy. Girl,
Yep.
Paris is one of my favorite cities, so I was like, "Ooh, that's cheap." I wish that was the price of tickets to go to Paris in this day and age, but
Mhm.
speaking of, I feel like we can go on and on about the subject of what things were 20 years ago versus today. As crazy as it sounds, time is flying, but one
Mhm.
thing I think this is that it ties into our topic for today, which is the price of comparison, girl. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the cost of comparison.
Yes, I wanna first of all, I wanna ask listeners a question. When was the last time you caught yourself scrolling and feeling like comparing yourself to something you saw on the internet? And also, I kinda wanna pose that question to ourselves.
Mhm.
Like, let's have an open, honest conversation. I will say about last week.
Girl, I was gonna say the same.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's
Yeah,
really bad.
honestly, I think as you grow, elevate, heal, and try to get to the next level, we are human at the end of the day. Like, I think it's as humans, we have human emotions, we have real life experiences. So I think comparison is a natural experience that a person has, but I feel like there's a difference between comparing yourself and allowing comparison to rob you from your joy. But like to your
Mhm.
point, I just last week too, like I'm like looking at things and sometimes it's not intentional that you want to compare yourself to someone, something, or an experience or just the lack thereof. But I think as we are watching people's highlight reels, because let's be real, that's what social media is sometimes, that it's easy to fall into that trap. Especially when you're doom scrolling, it's just so easy to kind of get wrapped up into other people's situations, other people's lives, and the things other people are doing, and think like, "Dang, why am I not doing that?" Or "What's wrong with me?" Because I literally feel like I'm the same, doing the same thing, if not better, like, and so on and so forth. So
Also
yeah,
think we are obsessed with growth, and with growth comes comparison. Same way businesses compare themselves to competitors. I think that we have adopted that mentality and like that sort of outlook on things that every time we get on social media, it's almost like a measurement of like how successful that person is versus how successful you feel like you've been and so on and so forth.
yeah, I agree. I think that that's just like a natural thing that we do, but something I
Mhm.
definitely want to implement and say is at the moment that you find yourself like comparing, I think there's a way to do it in a healthy manner, right? And I think like one of
Mhm.
those things could be even when it relates to social media. I think we should take the time to have like clear like purges and assessments of our page and the pages that we follow, right? And think about if it's doing something positive in our lives or something negative. And I feel like the minute something
Yes.
is negatively impacting you, you have to remove it. Like you literally have to unfollow, do whatever you need to do so that you're not experiencing that same feeling again and again.
Yeah, and to your point, like I think that it's not necessarily about like avoiding comparison because again, this is just where we are as a society in terms of like measuring our progress and always feeling like, okay, what else can I do? How else can I grow? Like it's a natural thing that's happening. It's more so about like navigating that feeling and turning it into something that could be very negative into something that could be positive or something that is positive, I should say. And I agree with you. I think that figuring out your triggers in terms of comparison is super important, as well as figuring out like, are you comparing yourself because you're inspired, or are you comparing yourself because you want to imitate, or you feel like that person's life is better than yours? And I think that's the difference right there. Like, it could be really negative for you if you're comparing yourself in terms of like feeling like that person's life is better than yours or whatever the case may be. That is sort of like imitation comparison versus
Mhm.
inspiration, where it's like you see something online and you're like, oh, hold on, let me get up and get it. Like something that's gonna make you put your phone down and
Yes.
get to it in real life. That's inspiration.
Yep.
And that to me is a more healthier comparison angle that we can all take and implement into our lives than the opposite, which is looking and feeling like and doom scrolling and feeling like, oh, everybody else is doing great stuff and here I am just scrolling watching everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a healthy side to comparison, as crazy as that sounds. And I think the healthy side of comparison is sometimes you got to be honest with yourself when you ain't on your shit. Or sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself when you're just literally not doing the things that you know you should be doing. And I think that that's like a motivating factor, which is the positive aspect of comparison is when you see that said thing, to your point, like you said, it should instantly motivate you to go and get it. I think it's so amazing that when we see like other people or other women winning and doing things, that instantly
Mhm.
our mind doesn't go to, oh my gosh, like, why? Woe is me. Why can't I do that? Why is this person always winning? Why is this person always having these experiences I'm not? And shift it to, oh, wow, she did it. I can do it too. Oh, this is what
Mhm.
she's experiencing. Let me figure out how I can experience it, or let me figure out how I can take myself to the next level. I think it's just one of those things where we just have to do a mindset shift to be able to use the comparing to motivate and inspire.
Absolutely, but also if you're gonna do comparison, make sure you're also comparing yourself to yourself. Like, make sure you are looking back at who you were a couple months ago and to figure out where that growth has happened, just you to
Mm,
you in the mirror, right? Like, and I think the best way to do that is journal. Write
Yes.
things down, y'all.
Yeah.
Write to yourself, write letters to yourself, write notes to yourself. Just write about how you're feeling, where you are, so that you can look back and make a real measurement of where you were to where you are now. I think once you implement that, you'll really focus on comparing yourself more than yourself to people who don't even know you exist.
I agree. I think that's amazing that you said that. I love that you said that. I think if we and as we're talking about this topic, we are entering a brand new year. We are in October, also the last and final quarter of the year. This is a great time to do an assessment, and journaling is a great idea and a great way to do that because literally we get so caught up in our day-to-day lives and the things that we're going through and comparing our lives to the people we see on social media and people we may not even know in real life that we forget that we are living in answered prayers. And I think we should never forget the times that we didn't have the things right now that we very well take for granted because we're spending
Mhm.
so much time comparing ourselves to things that we can also reach, but we're forgetting the things that we do have that we once did not. So I
Mhm.
love that you said that in order to motivate ourselves out of comparison, we need to take an assessment of the things that we currently have that we didn't have literally could have been like a month ago, 3 months ago,
Yes.
6 months ago. Those are like short term things, tangible things that you can see that you were able to reach. And you should be grateful of that. A small win, a big win, all of those wins, like it's still a win at the end of the day. And we should never forget that.
Yeah, it's all about reframing comparison overall, but also practice makes perfect. Our minds are muscles. The only way you grow muscle is to flex the muscle and to practice over and over and over. And the same way we kind of talk about self-confidence, right? Like looking yourself in the mirror and talking to yourself. Like that's a way to flex that muscle to grow your confidence. And it's the same for comparison. So you have to be aware of when you're comparing in an unhealthy way.
Hmm.
And when you feel like you're comparing in an unhealthy way, you already have we just gave you the tangible steps right now on how to do it in a healthier way that's really focused on your own personal growth and not necessarily what you think is happening around you. Because again, a lot of times social media be the highlight reels. So what we think is happening ain't really happening. Okay. So make sure when you are feeling like you're comparing yourself, you do a temperature check. Okay, is this negatively
Hmm.
impacting me or is this a positive comparison? And if it's negative, how am I going to shift it into a positive? And if I can't shift it, then I need to remove myself from it.
Absolutely. I think another thing that we need to do as it relates to tangible strategies is set boundaries. Let's take social media, for example. I think the boundaries that we can set on social media is if we find ourselves comparing our lives to other people's lives and it's not being done in a positive light where it's motivating us and instead it's causing us to feel anxious or to lose our self-confidence and just rewire our brain to be on the negative side of comparison, then I think that we should unfollow pages that don't align with us, unfollow people who you aren't inspired by. I feel like you don't have to be following people that you've known from high school that you don't communicate with or family friends that just are maybe negative and don't impact you in a positive light. Celebrities that may not even know who you are, that you're engaging on their posts and they may not be responding back to the things that you're saying, or just people who are not doing things to help inspire and uplift you. I think there's tangible things we can do on social media. That's set boundaries, that's unfollow pages, that's set time limits on when you can scroll. If you notice if you're scrolling late at night that you feel these feelings, like maybe you set your phone to have these different notifications that says, "Hey, you've been on Instagram for too long," or you need to maybe not be on the app anymore. But unfollowing pages and just limiting your social media time is a boundary that I feel like is a tangible thing that you can actually do to stop the comparison game.
And gratitude is the answer to so many of our problems. Just being grateful for what you have in your own everyday life that's right in front of you. Because 9 times out of 10, there are so many people in the world that would trade places with you. You
Yes,
don't even know it. You don't
girl.
even know it for the simple things that you have, like the car that you drive, or even having a car to drive. Like, it's so
Mm,
important to focus daily on what's good in your life. honestly, I really believe that the energy you put into this world, you get back. Like, down to your
Absolutely.
perspective on things. Like, you think the world is out after you, then it is. You think you could conquer the world, then you can. It's really what you put out there.
Ooh, I love that. Okay, drops the mic. Yes, I love that you said that. Attitude is gratitude. I feel like when you walk in this world with a grateful, gracious heart, positive things flow. Where energy is put out, that's where things flow from. Like if you know that you're going to put out positive things, that's what's going to come to you. So I love that you said that. I think that redefining your version of success helps also eliminate the idea of comparison. Like sometimes we literally just have to tell ourselves we are enough. Like
Mhm.
enough has to be good enough for us. Like I think sometimes we try to strive to be more than enough. And in certain seasons, I think doing enough and whatever enough looks like for you is what it should be. So I think everybody should write down their version of enough and what that may be in career, finances, health and wellness, family, like whatever that looks like for you in your own terms, and just stick by that. So that way, whenever you see anybody else doing something outside of that, that's their life, that's their lane. You have to stay and focus on
Mhm.
your lane. Cat Williams said this in his one of his stand-ups, and I was literally thinking about that this week. You gotta be in tune with your star player, and that's you. Like you gotta literally be aligned with you. He was comparing like a runner, and I think he was like talking about like a runner just being in their lane or something like that. It was funny. You gotta look it up on YouTube. I think Cat Williams is funny. But anyways, you gotta be in tune with who you are and yourself. Put the blinders on. Don't look outside of what no one else is doing. And I think when you do those things and just focus on you, then comparison has no way to enter your life because you're so focused on your journey and what you have going on.
And let's be real, the cost of comparison is very expensive. Yeah, it might not cost you money, or it can cost you money, but it's gonna cost you so many other things that money could never buy, like your mental and physical health. Like, if you are constantly comparing yourself negatively, you are increasing your anxiety, you're increasing your stress, your depression, which in turn really affects your attitude and your productivity. You're decreasing your self-esteem, your confidence, all these different things, and if you ask me, that's more expensive than money sometimes.
Yeah, that's so true. And when you talk about the hidden cost of comparison, it's time. Like you said, it may not
Mhm.
cost you money, but it costs you time, and time equals money. Time is money. Think about how much time you spend doing something that you have no business doing, and you think back and you're like, wow, I could have been doing X, Y, and Z. So the time that you're spending to compare your life to the lives of other people, you could be utilizing to put into a business plan. You could be utilizing to put onto the to-do list of the things that you said that you wanted to get done versus doom scrolling and doing the things that you have no business doing. So I think it definitely costs you like not creating the life that you want to own, not creating the life that you want to live. Time is something of the essence and it's not something that you can get back. Once the time passes, we talk about how crazy it is, the year is coming to an end. The year is going to continue to go. The days are going to continue. The hours are going to continue to pass. Those things are never going to be in reverse and it's never going to be on your timeline. So you have to figure out how to get with the program and make your time on this earth the best time possible. We've said it so many times on this podcast, but you only literally get one life. Like you're getting older by the second, you're getting older by the day. So what is it that you're going to do now to make your future self super proud of the time that you took today to do the things that you said that you were going to do instead of spending time comparing your life to other people's that you what can you do about it? You literally can't do anything about it. Like comparing yourself
Girl.
gives you no like you get nothing from compare. You don't get a check. You don't get no money. You don't get nothing. You don't get a gift. You don't get a cookie. Like you get nothing but negative impacts when you're comparing yourself. Like
Mhm.
you're losing your self-confidence and you're losing yourself.
And I wasn't even joking when I said sometimes it could be expensive, like monetarily, because you could end up trying to keep up with the Joneses, buying this, buying that, that you see this person has on social media, that person has. And that's one thing too about living in Miami in general. It's a
Mhm,
lot of that happening down here.
mhm.
A lot of keeping up with the Joneses, people trying to be outside every weekend, trying to show off for this person at a table, who's at the next table, trying to show off this outfit, that outfit, when the reality is the people with the most money be at home, honey.
Mhm.
When you really learn game, when you really learn real money, it's none of that stuff we see on social media. It's not this
Yeah.
bag, that bag. Yeah, some people got it, but that's not what they bragging about when you really got money. You bragging about assets. You bragging about properties. You not really bragging about all this other play superficial stuff. And you have to be very sure that you are also not trying to keep up with the Joneses and spending money and spending out of your budget just to look a certain way on social media. Ciao. Do not play yourself like that.
I wish, child. I wish. And you're comparing yourself to people who probably have no idea what you're thinking, what you're going through, what you got going on. People probably who could care less. So spend the time comparing yourself to you because you are
Mhm.
what matters most to yourself. You literally need to just rethink and just like refocus. And like Crystal mentioned, you are your biggest asset. So you have to compare yourself to yourself and how you're going to get better. So think of the ways that you're trying to elevate, whether it's in your career, elevate your finances, elevate in these creative projects that you want to do, and compare your progress now to your progress then. Like that's time comparing is what progress are you making today for tomorrow? And when you get to tomorrow, what progress did you make?
And like we said, it's inevitable. We are human. We're not even about to sit here and lie to you and act like we don't do it, we haven't done it, whatever the case may be. But it's really about navigating that space and making sure that you are not falling deep into that comparison black hole, and that you are changing your perspective on comparisons to be more positive than negative and unhealthy.
Yeah, I agree. And we're not saying don't compare, never compare yourself to anybody. Cause like as we open up the show, we said it, it's a human experience to compare yourself. But I think there has to be like an instant switch where you stop yourself in your tracks to just shift your mind. Like, and I think it's gonna take practice and over time you're going to get used to doing those things. But when you stop comparing yourself to other people and other people's experiences, you take a stance in like grabbing a hold of yourself and getting back to who you are in the sense of doing the things that matter most to you and stop looking on to what other people are doing versus what you can be doing. So, and that stuff takes away
Mhm.
from you being anxious and depression and have anxiety and all the things that don't make you the best version of yourself. So, I think you
Mhm.
literally just have to, you just gotta rewire our minds and just like literally reel it
Do
back
you,
in.
boo boo. Do you, honey. I hope this
Absolutely.
episode helps you guys. I really, really do. Listen, if you heard it today and you need to play this episode back in 2 weeks, go ahead and do it. Like, let this be your friendly reminder that you, like Amanda said, you are the star player in your game. Okay.
Mhm.
So focus on you. Hope this helps. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every single week to talk to us, to listen, to engage. Make sure you're sharing this with somebody who you feel like might even need to hear this. Like this might be on time for them because you know they got the potential to kill it in this world, but right now they're just stuck between a rock and a hard place and just need some guidance on how to navigate comparison.
Yes.
Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving us messages on a SpeakPipe. We want to hear from you.
We do. And I want to leave you guys with this. You cannot compare your foundation to someone's finish line. So it's always going to be a marathon. You got to keep on it and keep running your race.
Let me say one more thing on it because Amanda said running the race, and I love that. Do not be fooled, y'all. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And a lot of times you think people are running this race and running the marathon, and they be running in place. Okay? Don't
Speak
forget it.
on it.
Don't forget it.
Speak on
People,
it.
it could look like they got motion, they doing this, they doing that, and they running in place. It's a lot of nothing happening. So do not
Facts.
be comparing yourself. I just had to add on
Facts.
to that. But yes, Amanda was preaching. She was preaching. Okay.
It's
But
facts.
thank you guys again so much for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode of Elevators Podcast.
That's right, guys. Bye.
Bye.